educating the actors on how to actually hold the firearms, hold the guns, is something that you don't necessarily think about when you're dealing with guns all the time. Okay, this is how I hold this, and this is how I, work this and manipulate this. The actors don't have that. It's not something that they're doing all the time. So understanding, yeah, we treat all the guns as if they're loaded, sure, but how are we going to treat it if we don't know? These guns are producing air, it's CO2 that's coming out. We don't want anything to be too close or in the way of any of this air or anything like that. So we're working on getting things aimed and blocked accordingly.
I've been doing martial arts for pretty much my whole life. I've been, in some way or fashion, taking martial arts for over 35 years. If without the actors, we don't have a show. So while I'm trying to translate what I do in a realistic way to the actors, I basically slow that down. We're using actual real life self-defense classes, techniques that I would use in the street and during my classes, but we take that very slowly, step by step, to make sure everyone's safety is important. Sometimes there's a lot of selling that goes on, rather than, so you know how to throw the technique as hard as you would in a class or on the street. So there's a lot of acting involved, but yet it's real technique. So if they're not done properly, there could be injuries, but that's on me, making sure I'm teaching correctly, teaching proper technique, so it translates to the audience in a very unique, authentic manner. If you're in a relationship where you're being abused, that's not okay. If at any point someone lays their hands on you, whether it male or female, because it can go either way, guys, it's important that you do not have to deal with that.
Probably the first and only show I'm sure I'll deal with where we're actually using airsoft guns, like things that are very realistic and things that will be making a noise and making a sound from the stage. So usually sound effects and things like that, kind of like we spoke about, they would happen from the booth. They'll come off of the speakers and everybody knows, okay, so that's what a bang is. It came from the speakers, not from the stage. But now it being on stage and implemented, the safety we have to go through to make sure that our actors are safe and everybody else in the theater is safe is just through the roof. We try to make sure that that's all done, but the audience should get a real kick out of this because it's not something that happens often. This is great. I may use the word or term loosely, but this is pretty revolutionary. I haven't seen this in community theater, so I'm excited.